And now, time for the Justo's Best podcast. And here's your host, Marvin, Richie, Tony, and Justo. That's right, folks. Welcome to the Justo's Best podcast. Happy Memorial Day. I am Justo, and I'm joined in the studio with my three good friends, DJ Tony Ray.
What's going on, Justo?
Marvin Scott.
What's happening, Justo? Good to see you, man.
And Richie Phillips.
Good morning to everybody that's listening.
Richie. What's going on, guys? So we have an awesome show yet again planned for you. We want to say a big thank you to everybody that responded to last week's. We're excited to move forward, and we got some of the feedback, and we'll be happy to share that a little bit later on. On the show today, in the Artist Spotlight, we have comedian Tony Watson joining us. That's going to be a lot of fun. But first, we're going to go around the horn here, and I'm going to ask you, fellas, what was the best part of your week?
Best part of my week was the live test screening of the Trojan film I had done last year, a short film. I want to thank everyone who supported the film and tuned in. And I will be letting all of you fellas know, and any of you who missed it, when it will be available on any streaming platforms within the next couple of weeks. And I would say that was the best part of my week. It was just a little nerve-wracking, folks, just before it came out, being that was my first project I booked, my first film I booked amongst all the other things I've done. It's a 40-minute film, and I really just had a chance to reflect on the camaraderie and great chemistry we all had as a cast and crew. So that was the best part of my week.
First off, hats off to you, Marvin. I'm happy and proud. I can't wait to actually get to see it. Congratulations, man. I'm just so happy for you. Best part of my week was yesterday. We got in the car and went and saw her sister, and we cooked out and built a big fire in the backyard. And I like fires, man. I'm a big pyro person, so we burn like, I don't know, at least I'd say about 7 stacks of wood. That it was insane. It was basically his old shed that we tore down the weekend before that, and we burnt that bad boy up. It was pretty fun, but that was the best part of my week, hanging out with the family.
That's awesome, bro.
That's awesome, man.
Good to hear, man. Good to hear. So before I get into my best part of the week, Marvin, you got to tell me, did you invite your neighbor to the live showing?
You know, she didn't catch it. She didn't catch it, you know.
That's because you didn't make her. You didn't invite her.
Well, you know, I did. It's not a red flag. She had some troubles streaming it from where she was. She wasn't at home at the time. But I can't hold that against her, guys. You know, it's one of those things where it's a game of patience. Like, once it's like something's live, you wish you had it right then and there to show everybody, you know. Right. But she did support me though afterwards. She was like you, Richie, like you fellas. She was like, I definitely got to see it afterwards, and I was like, no problem. And when it comes out, I'll definitely let y'all know.
Now, are we talking about Hazel?
We're definitely talking about Hazel.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. We're talking about Hazel.
We'll talk about Hazel. So here's what you need to do, Marvin. When it comes out and there's ways to stream it, you're inviting Hazel to your place and you're cooking her dinner. It's that simple.
It's that simple, and I am going to take all that advice, Richie. I won't let you down,
man. You know, I just, like I said, I've known this man a long time, and I have not seen him smile this much, and I want all the success for Marvin. So for my week, best part of my week is actually just like Hazel. I met someone, actually, and she listened to our podcast recently, and we had our first date yesterday, so it was a good time. So easily the best part of the week. Yeah. You know, I don't like to text a lot, and we've been texting for like 4 or 5 hours a day. It's been pretty.
Well, I see you smiling quite a bit too.
Yeah,
you see that? You fellas see that?
Oh, yeah, I see it. I see it. That's that love smile.
I got my own Hazel for sure. So that was easily the best part of my week by far. So I'm looking forward to the podcast, guys.
I like it. I like Marvin's found love, and Richie's found it. They both smiling, and Justin got a cat.
I got a cat.
How is Tyrion doing?
He's asleep again right now, but he's doing great, man. He's, it's always fun to see the animals when they're in the baby stages. So I guess best part of the week, aside from being able to hit a salon and get the haircut going, that was refreshing to get some of that off of the neck. And kind of piggybacking off of Marvin there, I shout out to Capture One Studios and Matt Ehrman. A film that I was a part of last year is finally able to resume and finish the filming, and it's very exciting to see everybody. And we were appreciative of social distancing, and we all respected that, but we had a blast, and it's just so amazing to be on set, and it's such a great feeling. So it was awesome for me to just even be that close by being at a rehearsal. It was a lot of fun.
And Justo, I love hearing you describe that feeling, because that is just the genuine feeling that comes from an actor. Especially now, is being around everybody, that missing that chemistry and camaraderie. I completely feel you, man.
Well, as you know, today is Memorial Day, so we want to take this time to thank all the veterans out there who have risked their lives and sacrificed everything, literally, to protect us and to provide a sense of freedom and peace for us. So a big thank you to all the veterans in my life. You all know who you are, but specifically, of course, I'm going to thank Dad, Johnny, my brother Jacob, anybody. I definitely don't mean to miss you guys. I could go on forever with names. I love you all. Thank you all for everything you do. Thank all of you veterans for everything that you've done, sacrificed. We can't thank you enough. I'm just going to send it around the horn here, guys. A little happy Memorial Day around the horn, and then we'll head on into the show.
That was great, Justo. Just to piggyback off top of that, just want to thank all you veterans out there, giving us the time to reflect on your service. And to my late grandfather, Frank Crow, who served in World War II, to many relatives that I had that served in wars, to many friends I know that have served, to those that have lost their lives, to those who are continuing to fight for those who have lost their lives. We thank you from all of us here at Justo's Best. And shout out to my family and friends back home during this Memorial Day weekend. Would love to have been with them this past weekend. But with the current circumstances, we're continuing just to pull together until things continue to get better. So that's from the heart. And thank you all out there.
Very well said, Marvin. I appreciate that. I'd like to also thank all the servers and people that served, and I'd like to thank my late grandfather, Edward Davidson, my wife's dad, Robert Wisman. It's a good thing to be able to sit down and to reflect and to talk about the things that these people do day in and day out, and then when they're gone, to be able to remember them as well, because that stuff is so important. So I just wanted to piggyback off of what you both said. I just really appreciate that. I have a strong love and admiration for people who serve and fight for this country. It's very selfless to do, and I just appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I feel the same way as you guys. It's a sacrifice. I think that's the easiest way to describe it. In the literal sense and just the philosophical sense, is so many things that these service people have to do. And not just them, their families have to deal with it as well. So it's, to everyone out there who's willing to sacrifice so freedom is free for those of us who aren't serving. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so my challenge to the folks out there, it's not necessarily a challenge, but it's just, I'm kind of calling out to you. I want you to grab a pen and a paper or a marker and a cardboard piece, whatever you want to do. Make a sign for each of the people that you want to shout out on Justo's Best for being a veteran. Maybe still serving, have served, has passed. There's no limits on it. There's no limits on the amount of people you thank, but I just ask that you do it in front of a video camera and post it in the comments below this week's episode, and we will take it from there. Don't go anywhere. We have an awesome show coming up. Again, we have comedian Tony Watson on the show. You're listening to Justo's Best podcast.
I'm Marvin Scott III, actor, coming at you live from New York City, and you are listening to Justo's Best.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Dunlap, and you're about to hear my song Gets You Through. Hope it helps get you through on Justo's Best Podcast. I'm just an outlaw, ain't got no wheels to run. Fatherless man and a mama's only son. Joker turned toker, a bully without a gun. Still shoot for the top, but the top don't ever come. The world don't spin for you. Do what you gotta do, whatever gets you through. Whatever gets you more as a boy than most folks ever have. Held the hand of a man, watched him take his final breath. Gambled my life, found out that's something you shouldn't bet. Stared death in the eye, said, I'm not leaving just yet. The world don't spin for you. Do what you gotta do, whatever gets you through. Whatever gets you through. Spin for you. Do what you gotta do, whatever gets you through. Whatever gets you through. Whatever gets you
And now, time for positive news with Justo on the Justo's Best Podcast.
That's right, folks. It's time for positive news. I'm Justo. Starting off this week, IKEA. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to put together any IKEA furniture, but it is usually the toughest part of the shopping experience. You know, at least for me, I suck at the instructions. The tools are usually too small for my fingers, but they're doing something that everybody can handle right now. They have posted on their website 6 simple designs for pillow forts, blanket forts, and things like that for families to do. So I think that that's very cool, because it's probably getting to that time where we're running out of ideas, right? How many times can you watch, all the movies in the cupboard there? How many times can you go all the way through Disney Plus and all that? So I thought that was cool that they were giving some people some ideas. It's funny to me because I've always loved trying to figure out how to build the pillow fort. So the question I have for you guys, what are some of the things that you do to stay busy at home, like while we're on this quarantine or even in your normal routine? Marvin?
For me, I've really enjoyed reading. Not that I didn't before the pandemic, but I really just took time to just really finish books I didn't get to in the past. And on top of that, honestly, I love playing my PS4, y'all. I do. I do in my downtime when I'm not reading. And other than that, just staying ready as an actor, reading monologues, watching films, just staying ready during this time of being cooped up. So that's how I like to stay, productive during all this.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Now you can add Harry Potter to your reading list.
Well, I don't know about all that, but
Mark.
But I think about it. Tony, I'll think about it. Yeah, okay. All right.
Okay.
To be fair to you folks, Tony, I'll put it on my list along with the Kevin Costner films.
Tony, what do you do to pass the time at home?
Oh, just spending time with the kids. We're doing a lot of house maintenance, fixing up type of stuff. We just got carpet put down. We painted the downstairs with some more areas to paint, detailed some cars. So yeah, I'm all over the place, man. But it's nice to have multiple options to be able to pass the time during these dark times.
So you're the father of the group, and I thought I'd ask you: does this appeal to you? IKEA given 6 simple designs for pillow forts, or are you the do-it-yourself type?
I like options. I build it the way that I want to build it. So, at least it's going to give me some different options to have it look different. So, yeah, because she's probably tired of going into the same fort.
Richie, what about you, man? What are you doing to pass the time?
Honestly, Marvin has adopted what I've always adopted, which is reading books. One I recommend for everyone if you haven't read it. It's called Good Omens. It's a really, really funny book. It's about like the birth of Satan's son and like the end of times. But basically, one of the plots of the book is the Antichrist. His name is Adam, and he's actually like gets swapped in the hospital to the wrong village, like with the wrong family. So like it's not going to culminate like the way it's expected. Long story short, really funny book. Highly recommend it. I've also been doing master classes. We talked about like during week 1 of the episode. I've been learning how to cook a little more, doing some interior decorating, buying some stuff. No new smart stuff yet. So we'll see.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's cool that, there's companies recognizing that we're going to need more to our to-do list, but some maybe not, The next news story I have is actually coming from Baylor University. Doctors and researchers at Baylor have been hard at work in what some would call an impossible feat. Dr. Daniel Yosher and his associates are in the process of teaching the human brain to read images that are photographed by a camera, thus giving the blind the ability to see the images that are depicted. There's still a long way to go with this research, but this week, Dr. Yosher was able to announce that they were able to trace some letters with the camera, and one of the blind patients was actually able to identify the letters that were traced. So to me, it's truly astounding, and it's a breakthrough that could very well lead to, I don't want to say a cure for blindness, but some kind of reprieve. I could not begin to imagine the struggle of being blind and what those people are going through. But I thought it was very cool that they're coming along this path. And so my question for you guys, how do you feel about medical professionals that have dedicated their lives to projects such as this one, using technology to attempt near impossible feats? This is not the first time we've heard of this. And my question, how do you feel about them doing this rather than focusing on, mass healing as far as like an ICU surgeries and things like that?
I love innovation, and I love new ideas that come to the table, particularly like the blind, because like you said earlier, all of us, we can't imagine what that's like. And I really think it's great that the medical field and medical professionals taking it upon themselves to find a way to make life more efficient for the blind. I'm all for that. But I'm also see a flip side to it and feel like more time can be dedicated to long-standing issues we've had within the medical field, where people, facing debilitating diseases, and in illnesses like that. I feel if you can come up with more innovations on that end, and focus on that and kind of create a balance like this, I feel that can help a lot of people too. I'm all for that, for this innovation, but it has to be for the other things as well. Other things need attention as well.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that this isn't the only, like I said, the only doctor that's out chasing something just like this. But yeah, I completely agree. I think, I guess your sentiment is I'd like to see more of it in more places, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Tony, what do you think?
Oh, I love it. I absolutely do. The, people that are hungry, that have this drive, this, motivation to be able to do stuff. Because, I'm sure that this doctor probably either has somebody that's close to them or around them that's probably blind, and it's probably the fire that fuels them. And if not, that's okay. They don't need that either. But they have this love and passion to help the blind and all this other stuff. So, I think it's really cool. I agree with Marvin. I wish more people would find that hunger and that drive for other things. And they have, because we've got all different kinds of technological things that are just amazing. But in the medical field, I definitely love seeing stories like this, and appreciate you bringing it to the forefront.
Absolutely. Richie?
Yeah, no, it's challenging to say the least, because you have to look at it from the perspective of you spending your entire life in the sense of trying to innovate, where, like you're saying, it's not safe, and you could spend your entire life working towards something and not necessarily come into fruition, but be a stepping stone for someone else to be able to create the invention. Like the hearing aid took hundreds upon hundreds of years. They used to use like a little horn or something to try to help hear, and it's been a lot more refined, and it's like 20-25% of people now can use a hearing aid of some sort. So to try to solve any visual cues would be wonderful. Down the road, I would like to be able to have extra eyeballs, so maybe this is something I could look towards. Just be able to have something in the back of my head or to the side, something like portable. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure you've been in shady parts of town where you just want to see around the corner before you take the step.
Right.
So I'm hoping that first they tackle like actual blindness for people who need it, but then more like secondary things, like a nose transplant, but like an eyeball transplant.
So
like
you would want the cam, because I think that's the direction, right? They're going to eventually want to lead towards like a body cam that would send all the images directly, direct feed or a stream to your brain, to the optical port, so the brain's picking that up. Yeah, that is crazy. We talk about your smart house, and we talk about technology and the advancements, and how scary it can be. But I think this is one of those cases where it's pretty cool. If you look it up, there's public articles about what's going on over there at Baylor, and you can kind of see what they're tracing with the camera, and it's awesome to see. So COVID-19 has clearly hit countries all over the world extremely hard. Everybody has been on lockdown, staying inside, and or been an essential worker and forced to be out in the elements. But the question is, what happens to the homeless? This is at least one of my big questions. And so I wanted to bring that to the table this week because the Canadian government has decided to tackle that issue. And the Comfort Inn in Victoria, Canada, who's been struggling to stay afloat, is benefiting from that greatly. They received a call from the Canadian government this week, who then spent $18.5 million to purchase the hotel. They also hired back all of its employees and are paying them to support them and support their families. So this will give, as far as immediately, will give 200 homeless people a safe haven to lock down during the crisis. This is the second major purchase that the Canadian government has made, and we're expecting to see more as time goes on. But what they're looking to do is essentially create safe havens once the crisis is over for elderly, for homeless, for disabled members of society, for veterans that don't have a place to go. Should the government of a country be responsible for the care of the homeless in a time of crisis? And what can we do to help?
I feel the government should be responsible for the homeless. Now, you can't save everyone, but you can attempt to help as many people as you can, especially in a time like this where I think a lot of people are starting to find that empathy, especially people that have been furloughed, that have lost their jobs, are now finding themselves in positions where they're homeless. So I think that if you have government officials that can look at that from another angle and see that, okay, there's a homelessness crisis altogether. People that have either lost their jobs or people that have been homeless for years. I think now this should bring to their attention that this is a glaring issue. So I think the government can step in and do more than what it's capable right now, especially when this was no one's fault. So they can help as many people as I think they can.
Right. I mean, you have to stay clean. That's how we get rid of this thing, right? You stay clean. How are they going to get clean? I agree with you. DJ Tony Ray.
Not to be the other side of the story, but I mean, the government does do a lot for the homeless. The question is that I would put out there is the end of the question that you asked. What can we do more of as an individual to help the homeless out? Can the government do more? Sure, they can do more. But, we have to, as individuals, look at ourselves and kind of push ourselves to see what we can do more. Can we go to a bank and help out? Can we, give clothes that we don't need anymore? I have closets full of clothes that I don't even wear anymore. And at the end of the year, my wife and I, we gather everything up, put it all together, and I take it in and take it down and donate it. I just think that we need to look at ourselves a little bit more on what we can do, because the government is only going to do so much. We, of course, want them to help, but if they're not going to help, what's the next step is my mindset.
Right. Yeah. And surely, that hotel costs $18.5 million, and they made the purchase on a whim to do that. So that we know could not go on forever here. And the homeless numbers are much, much, much higher than 200. So, yeah, I agree with you. What can we do? And how can we help? Richie, what do you think?
Yeah, it's challenging because you have perspectives of, can the government help? Which the answer is yes. And to Tony's point, they do. A lot of what's happening with homelessness right now is contributed to the economy being shut down, as Marvin kind of alluded to. And I think the government is also in part responsible for that and why there are people in the positions they're in. At the end of the day, I do think it comes down to how can you support people, as Tony was referring to. Jeff Bezos is a good example. For instance, he donated $100 million to food banks. And don't get me wrong, that's better than $0. But at the end of the day, in the period of time he made that donation, he earned $46 billion from Amazon. So how much did he really contribute, realistically? So you have this perspective of what can you do? Anything. And we can sit here and discuss, is that enough from Jeff Bezos? That's not the point. His contribution is still a contribution. And if there's any way you can find ways to help, please do so. Whether it's through, particularly if you're furloughed, if you're not working, you're working from home, there's a lot of ways you can volunteer your time now that you wouldn't have had the ability to. A lot of states are starting to open up. My state, not so much. But a lot of people are able to start moving and get out there and getting working again. So it would be really great to see people support the people who are in trouble.
I know that when I've been in the lowest times of my life, the smallest act of gratitude has made my day and turned me around and given me the motivation to move forward. And I think that if you can give somebody the motivation to move forward and remind them that there are good people out here supporting each other, you'll be amazed at the results. So today in history, I have grabbed a couple of interesting facts for us. In 1961, on May 25th, JFK announced the U.S. goal of putting a man on the moon before the end of the decade. So I thought that was pretty awesome. And did he did. He did, right?
Well, it was recorded.
He sure did. He put somebody on that moon. Tom Cruise.
Yeah, we put Tom Cruise on the moon. In 1977, the first movie in a very famous movie series film anthology, I guess is the way you should say it, was released. I'm going to give you guys a shot to guess it without looking at your notes.
It's unfair. I already looked at my notes.
Well, unlike Tony, I'm never prepared, so I'll take a random shot in the dark. Monty Python. Why not?
Monty Python. Okay, that's fair because we had it on another Today in History.
We did have it on another Today.
No, actually, the title of the film was A New Hope. It was the first release, but episode 4 of the Star Wars series, directed by George Lucas, starring Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford. So I thought that was pretty awesome. And then for sports, Marvin, I thought this was another incredible thing that happened on May 25th. In 1935, track and field athlete Jesse Owens equals or breaks 4 world records in 45 minutes at a Big Ten meet at Ferry Field in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Remembered as the greatest 45 minutes ever in sports.
Legendary.
That's awesome, man.
Period.
So that's going to do it for Positive News. I'm Justo. Don't go scrolling away from us now. We've got wacky news. We've got entertainment and sports coming up.
Hey guys, this is Tony Watson. I'm a stand-up comedian from Bluffton, Ohio, and you are listening to the Justo's Best Podcast.
Yeah. What's up, Tate? Raps, you ready? R3G. Turn up. Look up to the birds and always dream of flying. Right now I feel like I'm stuck and tired of sorta trying. Okay, I'm sorta lying. See, I feel like I succeed, but during trials I forget who I'm glorifying. It seems horrifying. We stay talking about dying to self, but in our hearts we're still sorta blinded. But God can give a blind man sight, so if we claiming lost hope, then grab faith and go out and find him. I know the road seems long, so let's cut the distance. And you say he don't speak, but you sorta distant. So it's time to listen and let his love cast out all things. Walk with him and see what you're missing.
Lord, I'm putting in work all through the week. Yes, I still put you first. So, Lord, I stay in your word. Won't let the enemy come and take away my word. No. Lord, I'm putting in work all through the week. Yes, I still put you first. So, Lord, I stay in your word. Won't let the enemy come and take away my word. No. I'm just putting in work. 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 The devil's always on the prowl and he trying to steal my crown, but my God always around. Oh, and he never lets me down, and he stays looking down, so you know it's going down, yeah. Going down. Oh. Yeah. Lord, I'm putting in work all through the week. Yes, I still put you first. So, Lord, I stay in your word. Won't let the enemy come and take away my word. No. Lord, I'm putting in work all through the week. Yes, I still put you first. So, Lord, I stay in your word. Won't let the enemy come and take away my word. No. Lord, I'm putting in work. Yes, I stay for you first. Lord, I stay in your word. Ooh, yeah. Lord, we putting in work. We putting in work. We stay for you first. We stay for you first. We stay in your word. Ooh, yeah.
All right, guys, the dad joke of the week. What's the difference between a poorly dressed man on a tricycle and a well-dressed man on a bicycle?
Oh, man.
No.
I don't know. Yeah.
You ready?
What's up?
Attire.
Oh my
God, I tried so hard this week.
I tried. I really tried.
Make sure to like or follow Justo's Best Podcast to be notified of new live shows. And if you ever miss a live show, Justo's Best Podcast can be found on YouTube, Podbean, Facebook, iTunes, and Spotify. Catch you next time.
To the 30, to the 20, to the 10, he could go all the way.
And now let's send it over to Marvin Scott for our Justo's Best Sports feature, The Wire.
What's happening, folks? Hot off the wire this week, former undisputed heavyweight champion Mike Tyson is teasing that he's going to face a big name when potential ring return is finalized. Tyson, 53 years old, has been out of the ring since 2005 when he suffered a knockout loss to heavyweight journeyman Kevin McBride. In recent weeks, Tyson has been posting training clips discussing his desire to return to the ring to have a few exhibition fights to raise money for charity. Tyson says, "I'm going to take this money and help the homeless, and we're going to help these addicted brothers because I've been homeless and I've been addicted, so I know the struggle. Not many people have survived like I did." Tyson's career rival, 57-year-old former undisputed heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield, is also discussing the idea of coming back and releasing his own training clips. According to Tyson, Holyfield is not necessarily going to be the comeback opponent. So with that being said, I want to ask you folks out there, if Mike Tyson does make a comeback at age 53, who would you like to see him fight? Who would the dream opponent be for all you folks out there and you fellas? I want to start with Tony. Who would your dream opponent for Mike Tyson?
I mean, you just read it in the story, my friend. You just read it in the story. The person I want to see him fight is the man ear that he took. I want to see.
I thought he gave it back.
Holyfield and Tyson again. 53 and however old Holyfield is. I mean, that's what I want to see. Of course, I could have said Muhammad Ali, and if Muhammad Ali was in his prime and him and Tyson in his prime, but if we're talking at 53 right now, who I want to see, that's what I want to see.
I love that. So Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson 3.
That's right.
For the ear?
For the ear.
For the ear, for the rights to the ear.
For the rights to the ear.
It's the fight of the ear.
Richie.
They should donate the ear to charity.
Richie, who you got?
Tony's stupid. I'll say this much. I'd love that fight just because it would be nice to be in a situation where maybe he gets symmetry and he loses the other ear too, so it looks like equally. But no, in all seriousness, my opponent, the moment you said Mike Tyson, because I love boxing. You guys might not know this, but actually I love boxing more than anything. To me, Joe Frazier. They're very similar. Frazier was 6 foot. I think Mike Tyson's like 5'10". I know the reach is literally almost identical. You're talking 2 inches. Frazier's slightly longer, but basically the same. And they're perfect for each other. You got the mean right, you got the mean left. That's really what it comes down to. And I forgot who it was. Really famous trainer was basically saying Tyson likes to fight in a closet and Frazier likes to fight in a phone booth. Like Joe Frazier got in there and scrapped. Joe Frazier got knocked down by George Foreman, and honestly one of the hardest hitting men in existence. He got knocked down 3 times in a round and kept getting back up. So that's why I want to tell people who don't know boxing well, if they would just think Mike's just going to hit him and he's not going to. No, he's going to get up. And the difference is Mike is the one who doesn't get up. So I'm very curious to see that fight. I would love to see 2 guys that don't have reach, that basically don't try to play defense. They just get in there and scrap, and it
just
would be
pummel each other.
And I don't want to go with bloodbath or anything like that, but it would just be aggression. It would not be a Mayweather fight. It would be the type of fight you expect to see between 2 boxers that want to knock each other out.
Yeah, there's no dancing in that fight, Richie.
No.
Yeah, I don't see that. And like you said, both of them fight pretty much similar styles, phone booth. I feel like they might knock each other out.
No, yeah, they could. Who knows? That's what I mean. They're basically the same man, same size, same weight, same everything. Just left versus right.
Who you got, Justo?
Okay, so have you guys seen the training videos?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the recent
he's
one. Yeah,
unbelievable. He looks in incredible shape. Yeah.
Absolutely.
The reason I ask is you guys picked some other retired boxers, and these would be some great fights, but man, I don't know. Former martial artist myself, once you start training people, you hit another level. You know what I mean? Once you've retired from competing and you've moved to train, you start teaching yourself again. And he's been training people for a long time. He's incredibly fast right now. I'm watching him on the pads. I'm watching him against some of these big guys. He's inside the box like you guys were talking about, like he's always been.
The hand speed still there. The feet work. Like you just wonder, like at that age, withstanding punishment.
yeah. That's the only thing is, and I'm sure he's preparing for it, you know. But will he be able to withstand the punishment? Boxing is a constant car accident, and 53's. It's going to be interesting. But I would actually vote for a mixed martial artist from the UFC. I think it would bring a lot of viewership. I think it would be a much better fight than people would give it credit for. I'd like to see Mike Tyson versus Johnny Bones Jones in a boxing match.
In a boxing match?
In a boxing
match.
You just said what's gonna happen. Johnny Bones Jones, he's gonna hit the ground.
Will be bones.
What are you talking about?
Tyson will collect his bones that night.
You crazy?
Sure. I don't know, man.
If John Jones can't kick him, man, what's he gonna do? He's gonna get obliterated, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the reach between the two. John Jones definitely has that over Mike Tyson, but
he's got 7-inch reach on him.
And he has excelled.
If Mike gets inside once, it's over.
But here's the thing with John Jones, and this is why I say this. Do you know what his martial art is? What his style of martial art is?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right?
No, his style of martial arts, and this is, if you look it up, this is what it's listed under. It's called Look-See-Do. That's what John Bones Jones does. He prepares for his fights. He climbs mountains. I've watched him climb. Yeah. He will take everything he needs to live and go up on a mountain and get into the place that he needs to be. And he's look-see-do. He checks it out. He figures out what he needs to do, and he does it. And he's got the reach to keep Tyson away. He's got the power to drop the elderly gentleman. I honestly think it would be a much more interesting fight. Like, I knew that would be the initial reaction. That young kid's gonna get knocked out, but John Jones is no chump, man. That's not a chump.
You sound like the Conor McGregor fan that thought he was gonna fight Floyd Mayweather and do okay, man. You're killing me. You killing me right now.
Mayweather's a different story. Tyson's coming out of a lot longer retirement.
Oh, I understand, but what you said is why I'm saying it's different. Yeah. Like, Floyd Mayweather doesn't have the ability to knock someone out instantly, right? But Mike Tyson at 70 is still a silverback. He could hit you, and your brain goes out instantly.
Okay, what about
that? I'm not saying Johnny couldn't do it. I'm not saying Johnny couldn't either. But I'm just saying, like, when you have two grown men and one who's trained to only use his fist against a kid who has so many more, like, it's so challenging to be able to use all the tools and then basically say, now you can only use one of your 7 tools. Right. It's hard to change your brain to be like, I can't kick him. You know, and that's super challenging in my opinion. And I think that's a bigger contribution to why I would say Johnny has no shot personally.
Mm-hmm. And that's why Tony.
So Tyson fought in 58 matches. How many KOs do you think he had in 58 matches?
In 58, I'm going to say 54.
Yeah, at least 50.
Yeah, 55.
Okay, you were close, but not really. It was 44.
44.
Oh, okay.
44. But that's still
so
bad.
It dropped off at the end then because he had 40 plus in his first 40 plus fights. It must have dropped off towards the end of his career. That's crazy though.
Yep.
That's pretty good. And that's why my dream opponent for Tyson would be Tyson Fury. I would love to see that.
Oh, okay.
I would love to see
a real boxer versus
a real
Mike
boxer.
Tyson.
Well, hear me out, y'all. I would love
yeah.
to see that because I feel Mike is, as hard as he's been working, deserves what we all would love to see. Just one shot, just one, at the world heavyweight title. After seeing Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, I feel like Mike Tyson could at least last.
He couldn't do worse than Deontay. I'll tell you that right now.
He couldn't do worse. He couldn't do worse. That's why I feel
worse.
Mike would at least last 3 or 4 rounds, even at age 53.
Yeah.
So that's my dream opponent for Mike Tyson. Hot off the wire this week, and in the NFL, NFL.com changes Colin Kaepernick's designation from retired to unrestricted free agent, presumably after the incorrect verbiage was brought to light on Friday night. Thank you to everyone who held at the NFL accountable for falsely reporting that Colin retired on their website. His girlfriend, Nessa, tweeted, "Tell them to stop denying him unemployment. He is an unrestricted free agent." So with that being said, folks out there, we saw Colin Kaepernick return in an incredibly dramatic, unexpected fashion with the workout that was public and the controversy that went behind that. So I want to ask you fellas, kick it around the horn. Do you fellas think the window has officially shut for Colin Kaepernick to return to the NFL?
Yes, I do. I'm just going to be upfront. I don't think, they're going to take a chance with Colin. He might be in football shape in his mind. You know how it is when you work out and you think you're in shape, but when you play the game, any kind of game, you have to be game ready. You know what I mean? Mentally game ready. And I don't think he's going to be game ready. I think all the stuff that he went through didn't have to go the way it did, but that's a story for a different day. But yeah, he's lost time, and therefore he's lost his career, and that's the unfortunate part.
Thank you. Richie?
Okay. Here's my take. I think it is done, but it never should have been in the first place. Because it's the last season he played, he had like 2,500 yards, and it was like a 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. I think it was like either 20-5 or 16-4, something like that. So he actually had incredible statistics. But like anything, it's just he just chose to do something and do an act in a peaceful protest, and the NFL just chose, due to their fan base, to say, you are going to be blackballed. Now, they can say whatever they want, but that's the reality. This is not Ray Rice. This is not Antonio Brown. The man did nothing wrong. But at the end of the day, I do think he's blackballed. I do think he has no shot. And I'm not going to get into whether or not is he physically ready. We can't speak to that. All I can say is the last time he had an opportunity to play and he was a starter, he was extremely successful. And it's a damn shame, quite frankly, that he lost an opportunity he never deserved to lose.
That's it, Justo.
It's tough, man. Anybody can come back if they're physically able to do so. I feel like the personal journey is up to them. I feel like the acceptance is up to the fans, up to the organization ultimately. But I don't know. Maybe this is what he needs. It's not my place to say. He made a decision. He operated within his rights. It upset a lot of people.
Yeah.
But that's, I guess my thing would come back to how I usually view these type of subjects. I'm not turning this on to watch that. I'm turning this on to watch football. So you're asking me whether or not Colin Kaepernick could come back after seeing the workouts. Sure, yeah, he could come back. He could be a football player if that's what he was going to do. If I wanted to watch reality TV, I'd turn on one of those channels. If I want to watch football, I'm going to watch football. And I could care less about the drama in between, and that's just my personal, and it's always been that way. Even when players on the team that I support do that, I'm like, God, man, I just want to watch the game, So he could come back, and for me, I would not be opposed to it as long as he came back to do what he's here to do.
I agree. I would also go to say, you folks out there, I think the window has shut. I think he's had every ample opportunity given to him within the last couple of years to kind of come back. And when he's had other parties get involved in his business, aka his girlfriend, it really hasn't made him look good at all in terms of NFL, front offices that want to take a chance on him and take a chance on bringing him into your locker room. You have to think about that as well. I think it'd be a mixed review. I think a lot of people would commend him for what he did, because he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't break the law. He wasn't, he was blackballed. But I feel just some of the courses of actions he's taken, you guys, I don't think that it's going to translate into having another NFL career again, and him being able to accept even a backup role at this point. I just feel like Colin has shut the window himself.
I did want to clarify too. I'm not hating on Colin Kaepernick for the decisions that he made and the things that he did. I was just mainly pointing out that for me, when a player gets surrounded by so much drama, it's hard to stand up for him when all we really want to do is watch football and talk about football.
Yeah. Tony.
Yeah, I want to go back and reiterate. I wasn't trying to say that he wasn't game ready. I was just trying to say that, because Richie brought up the yards. I mean, he did throw for 2,200 yards, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, but he went 1-10. So we know that he's able to come back and play. At what level, I can't speak to that. But, this is different than a lot of the other athletes that we've seen. Antonio Brown did it to himself with his actions. He still was able to find occupation. Then he did it to a different level. And then now he's pretty much blackballed himself out as well. So I mean, once you do things and have chances to make a difference, you can take those chances. And Colin had those chances and he didn't follow through. Antonio Brown had those chances, he didn't follow through. That's why I'm saying I believe that it's over for both of them, in my opinion. You know who did have a chance and they took advantage of it? Michael Vick. Vick had an option.
That's true.
He didn't fight it. He knew he was in the wrong. He grew from it. He had a chance. He came back. Was it what he wanted? No. Well, I can't say it. I don't know what he wanted. But to come back and be a starter at the level he wanted to come back at, too, only he can speak to that. But at least he was able to play the game that he loved, and that's probably what he enjoyed the most.
Yeah. Reggie.
Yeah, I got one more thing I'm going to say, and then I'm done on the topic, quite frankly. I think this is very polarizing for everyone, obviously. But to me, the best way I can say this to Kinley is I don't agree with the sentiment that he was a distraction. I think the media created the distraction, because here's my point. He took a kneel before the game. That's it. He'd take a kneel before the game, 40 seconds. Tim Tebow was in the league for many years, and anytime he made a large play, he took a knee. I never heard a single person be upset about that. Happened multiple times in one game. During the game, never heard anyone having upset about that. Now, you can talk about the purpose of the knees and the kneeling, but the bottom line is if that's not distracting, I don't understand how something that wasn't shown or filmed was distracting. The other person who also did similar things, Colin Kaepernick, Eric Reed, was not blackballed, but he was saying the exact same things. And why was he not blackballed? Because he was part of the NFLPA and he was the vice president. So there's a drastic difference in why one player from another player got opportunities. We can debate with his recent workouts, as what I think a lot of you are alluding to, is he himself chose essentially to say, if you're not going to do it on my terms, then I'm not going to play. And that is absolutely 1000% on him. His whole girlfriend Twitter thing with Baltimore in 2017, I'm not going to get into because that's his girlfriend. That's not Colin Kaepernick. And yes, that leads to drama. And that's a big part of why I think he is no longer in the league, as Justin said earlier. But to me, I think it's very egregious to say somebody who said, here's the purpose of something, but did it outside of the game is essentially that it's problematic. And I think it's very risky to continue the conversation past that on either side of the fence.
And we want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think the window is officially shut for Colin Kaepernick? And like Richie said, it's a very sensitive topic. You know, you can either be on, it's so many angles, so many sides to choose from. But ultimately, it's just looking at all the facts. And lastly but not least, folks, this week, hot off the wire, last night premiered ESPN's 30 for 30 of Lance, directed by Marina Sinovich, documenting the rise and fall of Lance Armstrong. If you missed that, don't worry. They're showing part 1 and 2 on ESPN 1 and 2. You can catch that 24/7. I am Marvin Scott, and that is sports as I have it this week.
This is Mike Riley, and you're listening to my debut single, Big Rig Trucker's Dream.
Driving through Georgia in a big steel box, dashboard with an ornament of Jesus on the cross. It's my only saving grace, I'm gonna get to Santa Fe. 80,000 pounds afraid to haul before I get paid. Need some product to strand or one on to hold. Either one would do if they lighten my load. So I took the next left-hand turn into a roadside bar. They were drinking cold liquor, had a Mason jars. Saw a blonde-haired beauty just eyeballing me. I said, do you want some company? She said, I know you're just passing through and there ain't no road home. Chorus. Next thing you know, my sorry chorus on the floor. Can't be so direct with the proper Southern belle. You got some nice for my eye. Got chorus. Now hit the road. I'm going 90 miles an hour down the never-ending road. I'm alone. The days are so long and the nights are so cold. I need a pretty little mama like you ain't ever seen. Right side by side, big rig trucker's dream. Barreling down the highway, I-85, I got a few missing teeth and bloodshot eyes. Keep a real strict schedule so I wasn't gonna stop till I saw a hitchhiking female didn't look like a cop. I realized I was wrong when she climbed up in the cab and a push-up bra. Saw a police badge, pulled around for a minute till she asked me for some dough. Said I'm wise to your tricks, honey, pushed her out the door. Can't be incarcerated for the third straight time. Put it back in gear, start heading down the line, hit the road. I'm going 90 miles an hour down the never-ending road. I'm alone. The days are so long and the nights are so cold. I need a pretty little mama like you ain't ever seen. Right side by side, big rig trucker's dream. Looked up and saw a waitress walking toward me, apron on and white notepad. She asked me, what are you having? I said, a hard time catching my breath, cause I never seen a girl so pretty in all of my life. I got on my knees and begged, would you marry me? Baby, will you be my wife? She said, get up, honey, I don't need your wedding ring. Some of that rumbling engine, red two-seater cab, and the smell of gasoline. She said, get up, honey, I A big rig trucker dream. 1, 2, 3.
This is Richie Phillips from East Oakland. You're now listening to Justo's Best Podcast.
And now time for Game of the Week on the Justo's Best Podcast.
That's right. It is time for Game of the Week. And guys, I have kind of been really digging all the talks we've had about Hollywood and everything going on. So this week's Game of the Week, I've named You Can Quote Me on It. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play a clip from a famous movie. Now, you guys have your buzzer, right? Got the buzzers here?
Got him.
All right, now it's still working. Okay. So I will play the clip. When the clip stops, we'll come back on the air. You'll be buzzing immediately if you know the name of the movie. That's how you lock in to get the other two questions. We'll give the points out as we go, but as you know, the points don't matter. So, is everybody feeling ready?
Ready.
I'm interested.
Ready.
I'm interested here because we got Tony. I know you like all kinds of movies. We got Marvin Scott, the film actor, and we got Richie Phillips, the entertainment host. So I'm interested to see where we go with this. Okay, here we go for our first clip.
Kevin Costner.
Wait a second.
That I cannot do. I'll give you anything you ask me. We've known each other many years, but this is the first time you ever came to me for counsel or for help. I can't remember the last time that you invited me to your house for a cup of coffee.
Yep, Tony, you won that one. All right, so what's the movie?
I'm moving fast as lightning. Is it Godfather?
It's Godfather. Okay, and then the main man talking is the member of a famous family in The Godfather. Do you know the name of the family?
The family? It's the Corleone family, right?
Yes, absolutely. And do you know the name of the actor speaking?
Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando. That is correct. Correct.
I gotta thank Richie for that. I might win a Game of the Week for once.
Yeah, all right. So, I mean, that's 3. I'm going to ask 3 and a bonus for everybody. So you got, let's see, that's 100 for, you got, we're at 650 points so far. The bonus question, what is it that Don Corleone cannot do? What's the favor he's being asked at the beginning of this scene?
You got me. Give the points to Richie.
Does anybody know? Richie, do you know?
Oh, jeez. No, I don't remember, honestly.
The man's daughter is being abused.
Okay.
I didn't even get my turn.
Okay.
Well, folks, I just lost out on the bonus question.
Well, hold on. I didn't finish it, though. So she's being abused. What's the favor?
Come on, Marvin. This is your chance.
I'm going to concede on this one. It was such a long movie, and I missed that part, and I don't know why. And I'm mad at myself for it.
It's the opening scene, actually. It's fair because a lot happens after that scene. He wanted them whacked, man.
Wanted them whacked.
Of course, he wanted them whacked.
Right.
Of course, I wanted them to be gone. Wanted them whacked.
And this I cannot do. I can't do it.
Cannot do it.
Right.
All right, so we're gonna move on to clip number 2. You fellas ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
Here we go.
Ready to redeem myself.
Here we go.
Warner, I completely agree.
Well, that's why I think it's time for us. Elle. Pooh Bear.
Yes.
I think we should break up.
What?
All right.
Buzzer.
Richie, you broke your buzzer, man.
I broke it, man.
Do you know the movie?
Yeah, Legally Blonde.
Legally Blonde. All right. And okay, so The names were said. Who are the two people talking?
Oh my gosh, you're killing me.
Characters.
I know her name. I don't know the character. I haven't seen this movie in like 20 years.
This is where it gets harder.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even remember I mean, obviously she calls her boyfriend Pooh Bear. I don't remember what his name is, man. Oh my goodness. Why are you doing this to me? I don't remember.
All right.
L something is her name.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what L Woods, I think, but I don't remember what the boyfriend at the time's name was. I got nothing.
Do either of you guys know? Did you hear it? It played in the clip.
Hell no.
Yeah.
I didn't even know the movie.
Nah.
Okay, so it stays with Richie then. His name is Warner.
Warner, okay.
Warner. Why are they breaking up? Because L clearly thinks that he's proposing. What is the reason for the breakup, Richie?
She's clearly a ditch.
I don't. It's something about her not being smart, basically. Like she wasn't like a good fit for him and his political aspirations. And then she goes to school and becomes a lawyer. Like that's the whole point of the movie.
Yep, basically, yeah.
If that counts, I'll take sure, but I don't remember. He's going to Harvard.
In his exact words, he has to quit.
Okay.
And the bonus question: the movie The Legally Blonde came out in what, 2001?
Mm-hmm.
What year did Legally Blonde the musical debut on Broadway?
Oh, you're killing us. Oh, 2011. I'm guessing.
The musical actually came out in 2007, and they did, I believe it was MTV, and they did a full run on that. Points. Richie, I'm going to give you, let's go 900 points on that. You got 1 out of the 3 right, so I'll give you 900. We got
2 out of the 3.
Oh, you got 2 out of 3 right. So in that case, 800 points there on that one. You guys ready for the next clip?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Looks like me and Vincent caught you boys at breakfast. Sorry about that. Did you have it?
Hamburgers.
Hamburgers! The cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast. What kind of hamburgers?
Cheeseburgers.
No. Where'd you get them? McDonald's, Wendy's, Jack in the Box, where?
Big Kahuna Burger.
Big Kahuna Burger. That's that Hawaiian burger joint. I hear they got some tasty burgers. I ain't never had one myself. How are they?
They're good.
You mind if I try one of yours?
Tony got it.
I want to hit the buzzer.
Okay. All right, Tony, what's the movie?
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. And who's talking?
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson. Do you know his character's name?
Richie.
I'm ready to steal if he doesn't get it.
Oh my gosh. I remember this because Marvin picked him for saving.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
You should know that. You should know this.
He said his name.
Oh my god. Oh, I don't have it.
All right, Richie, you had the first save there.
Yes. Jules Winfield.
Jules Winfield. That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was in our game, my friends.
I'm going to give
I picked him to save the world.
Yeah. He helped save the world.
He did.
Who is his co-star actor in that scene?
Well, the actor?
Yeah. Yeah, you're up. You stole.
Oh, John Travolta.
John Travolta. Okay. Now, so are you ready for the bonus question?
Let's go.
He's there to ask about one of these guys' business associates. What's that associate's name?
I almost cursed live on air. Oh no!
You are forgiven.
I don't remember it. I got nothing.
But, all right, Marvin, you're defaulted to the steal. Those two are there to ask about a business associate. You know?
Business associate. The business associate's name.
Yes.
God. I'm going to have to concede the DJ Tony Ray on this one.
You don't know? I believe here. I'll give it to anybody that can get out. I believe the line is, does blank blank look like a blank?
A lot of blanks. A lot of blanks.
Marcellus Wallace is who he was there to find out about.
Gotcha.
Marcellus Wallace.
Marcellus Wallace.
And I'm not gonna fill in the other blank. But if you watch the movie,
no, don't fill in the other blank.
Don't fill in the other blank.
All right, you guys ready for the next one? This is a quick. This is a short one here.
All right.
All right. Here we go.
Good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Yeah.
I think Tony got it again.
What?
I think Tony got it.
You kidding me?
I'm fast as lightning, boy.
Ask Carrie.
She knows.
Okay. So Tony, you know what the movie is? I take it.
Yep, Jim Carrey's playing in the Truman Show.
Okay, that's the first.
That's right.
That wasn't even my question. No, I'm just kidding.
Good.
Shortly after this clip in the film, something falls from the sky. What is it? And what is it named? Is the bonus question. What is it named? What is it is the final question. That falls from the sky. Shortly after, right in his driveway, something falls from the sky.
Is it a satellite? Or no, I'm sorry, it's a light.
Mm-mm.
Like a lighting fixture.
Lighting fixture. Mm-hmm. That is correct. Do you remember what it says on it? It has a name.
Damn it, Richie, how do you know this?
I love that movie.
No.
All right, Richie.
No.
You got the
Side note, quick story before I answer this. I was such a weird kid that I watched this movie and thought, wow, this feels like my life. I was literally that dumb. But that's why I love this movie. It'll always be one of my favorite movies of all time. I think that it was Sirius.
Sirius.
Like Sirius XM. Like
yep.
Sirius, it was spelled that way.
Absolutely. Awesome. So the points, once again, are stolen. They're going to go to Richie. Richie is stacking up the points. I didn't even give you points for last round. So
you didn't.
You won last round. You stole. You won this round. You stole. So I'm going to bring your total up to 400 points.
Wait, I had 800. How are you going to do
Oh, okay. You're right.
How does this point system work? How did he lose points?
I'm sorry. I forgot you were at 800. We're at 850. 850 is where we're Okay, are we ready for the last clip? All right, here we go.
What do you mean you do voices? Well, I do voices.
Yeah! We've come to this planet looking for intelligent life. Oops, we made a mistake.
We're happy to be in America. Don't ask for a green card.
I want you in the worst way.
Well, this is certainly a rough meeting, and it's not going very well for me, I'll tell you that. Hey, boss, give it a chance. She's going to loosen up any moment. Look at me right now, Moneypenny. I want to undo that bow and get to know you.
I'm crazy to make a deal with you.
Nancy and I are still looking for the other half of my head.
You idiot. You're doing it. I'm sitting on a gold mine.
Don't make me smack you, sweetheart. I'll do it.
Figaro.
I do a great impression of
Okay, Marvin. Marvin broke his button.
Finally.
The button's broken. We gotta
finally, I got it. Damn.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Is it my turn? Is it my turn?
It's your turn. What's the movie?
All right. Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire. And who is talking? Actor.
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams. Character. Who is talking?
His
First
character.
name.
Daniel.
Daniel. Okay. Yep. And what is he trying to do?
He is trying to get a job.
Get a job. That is correct.
Well, I was just ready, y'all. I was just ready. I didn't answer anything to that question.
Good. This is the bonus
I was trying
question.
to get as many points as possible.
The bonus question for this one, and I think it is so funny that this is where you finally buzzed in because I had this planned. The bonus question for this one is you get the insta win for the entire game of the week if you can do one of the dinosaur raps. Doesn't have to be all of them, but one of the dinosaur raps from Mrs. Doubtfire. You know what scene I'm talking about, right?
One of the dinosaur raps. Yeah. I do. In the beginning of the movie, right?
No.
Kind of towards the middle.
In the beginning, kind of towards the middle.
Somewhere near the end, was it?
Kind of by the end.
The beginning, middle.
About a climax of the movie.
The climax of the movie. Dinosaur.
It's right. I'll give you a hint. It's right after he gets the job in the film studio. So not in the beginning when he's still working as a voice actor, but after he's already gotten the job and he sneaks on set for the kids' morning show, and he's playing with the dinosaur toys. He raps for a few of those dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah. I do remember it. I got to remember that line for line?
One of the raps.
That was a challenging question. At the end of that. I got to remember that line for line.
Well, it's for the win, though.
It's for the win. What would Kobe do? Okay. It's for the win. All right. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I can't remember the lyrics. It's in my head. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Does anybody have it?
I do not have it.
I only know like one part of it.
Go ahead. One part will get us.
What is it?
Go ahead.
Oh, it's not verbatim. It's like something about like
I got
living above the soil. I'll come back later on as oil or something. Like that.
Marvin, you got it?
I do.
Go ahead.
I'm a raptor, and I want to do what I can. So that's it. That's
Eat
all I got.
what I can till the appearance of man. Yo, see me. I'm living below the soil. I'll be back, but I'm coming as oil. The easy one
Close enough, right, y'all?
Oh, yeah, it's funny.
The easy one would probably been the Brontosaurus line. The I eat wood, it tastes good, no meat, big feet.
I eat wood.
Ow!
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that does it for Game of the Weeks. Thank you guys for playing, and thanks for giving me some good laughs here as always. Don't go anywhere. We have some greatness coming up.
Yo, I'm Sahid, an artist out of Dayton, Ohio. You're about to listen to my song, All Time, right here on the Justo's Best podcast.
Your love feels like the greatest of all time. It feels like the greatest of all time. Your love feels like the greatest of all time, all time, all time. The greatest of all time. Baby, loving you is so amazing. Girl, you gotta be the greatest I ever had. Ain't gotta tell you, girl, you know you bad. Damn, baby, give it to me, I need all of that. Yeah, ballin', baby, you deserve a ring. You got something about you, baby, I ain't never seen. Baby, you are more than I could dream of. This has gotta be a real love. Your love feels like the greatest of all time, all time, all time. The greatest of all time, all time. The greatest of all time, all time. The greatest of all time. Girl, you got it like that. I gotta be 100. you want it. There will never be another like you. No, baby girl, you got it. God did a little extra when he made you. Baby, you are more than I could dream of. It's gotta be your love feels like the greatest of all time, all time, all time, the greatest of all time. All time, all time, the greatest of all time. All time, yeah, the greatest of all time.
Warning. You are about to be teleported to the world of wacky news. Prepare to be wacky.
That's right, folks. It's time for Wacky News, and here's your host, DJ Tony Ray.
All right, everybody. It's DJ Tony Ray with the Wacky News for you. So I have a whacked out story for you all. T.I. faces widespread criticism after admitting he goes with his daughter to gynecologist to check her hymen every year. He made the comments during an appearance on a podcast last week. The question has asked about his parenting style and whether he talked to his daughter about sex. He stated, "Not only have we had the conversation, we have every yearly trip to the gynecologist to check her hymen. Yes, I go with her. She signs the right for the doctor to share the information with her dad." After the podcast came out, you have a lot of women who disagree with T.I.'s parenting style. My question is, how whacked out is this story? And what do you all think about his policing of his daughter's virtue and hymen? Do we all know what we're talking about when I say hymen?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, Richie, take it away. How crazy is the story?
I can't even just. I wasn't ready for that, Tony. Like, this is hard, being the first person to talk about this. I honestly, like, it's kind of a disgusting thing in the sense of, like, the invasion of privacy is how I would view that. Like, father or not, like, that's just, there's certain things that, like, you know, even a mother shouldn't be doing something to that extent, to that level. I'm surprised he thinks it's okay. You know, obviously, you know, his daughter allowing him to do so is, you know, it's a child. The child's not going to be like, no, dad, you know, like things like that. So I'm shocked. I'm appalled. I wish I had like more profound thought than that in this moment, but I wasn't ready for what we were about to discuss. So disgusting. I'm surprised he thinks this is a sane thought. And I hope sincerely that, Tony, you won't do that to your child.
Oh, no, definitely not. Justo.
Yeah, whacked out. That's crazy, man. And like to have, again, this kind of goes back to where I was at with sports, being aware of your publicity. Like, you know, that's what you want to be said about your career, or like added to the story anyway. Yeah, I'll echo Richie. Gross. Whacked out for sure. Whacked out for sure.
Marvin.
On a scale of 1 to 10, a whacked outness 10. 10 being disgusted. I completely agree with the fellas on this one. No need to take another stance. Why would you even want something like that to even be public about your daughter, for one? You know,
why would you want to attend that? Come on, man.
Exactly. Like, why would you? You don't have anything better to do at the time.
Right.
Other than...
Think about how narcissistic and controlling that would be. Like, what gives you the right to want to, you know, to be able to do that? And like you all said, I agree with everybody. I find this, being a father of a girl, completely disgusting. I mean, I know that one day that's going to happen, but that's a part of life. I have no control over that. All I can do is tell her the right things so that way she can be safe and make good judgment decisions, but I can't police that. That's not my right to police that. I just think it's crazy. It's whacked out for sure. All right, switching gears, getting off of that. Husband attempts to make bed for the first time in 45 years and he doesn't do it well. Newly retired 66-year-old was handed a list of things to do around the house. First on the list, making the bed. However, this man has not made a bed since he was 21 years of age. The wife stated, I told him he needs to pull some weight around the house now that he was retired. There's a picture of the bed, and guys, I'm telling you, he's got pillows stacked like tents. He's got the covers pulled all which way, wrong directions. It looks to me like he's purposely trying to make the bed incorrectly so he can get the wife to say, okay, never mind, I'll make the bed.
Yep.
However, the wife has stated, I think it's funny. I guess you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Richie, what do you make of this story?
What I make of that story is that is a trick my father pulled on my mother, because my mother is a cleaning freak and everything has to be perfect. She's a perfectionist, and my father tried to raise me to do the same thing. But I think it's very manipulative, and I think that's a terrible thing to do. And folks out there, I'm not commending anyone who does that tactic, but that's 100%, because clear as day, he's been married to this woman for, what was it, 40-something years? Yes. I mean, he saw how she made the bed. So for him to sit here and put the pillows in tents and in triangles or whatever the heck he was doing, to have the bed in disarray, the blankets in a weird position, he clearly did it on purpose. It's 1,000% like a really manipulative tactic. I mean, like, my sister pulled this trick to a smaller degree with the dishes, and she didn't wash them very well intentionally. And my mom was like, well, that's gross. So she got away with it too. So long story short, pretty clear as day, he's absolutely manipulating her. And that's insane because, like, what else is he doing? He is retired. That's freaking stupid.
Absolutely. Justo.
Man, are we sure that he wasn't checking out the IKEA page and practicing?
And practicing a pillow fort?
Yeah, he was practicing.
He could have been. Okay. We're going to skip right to Marvin.
Oh, man. I got the guys back on this one here. Simply remarkable. Simply remarkable. I mean, who knows? Like, this could be a long-standing prank for all we know. You know, I feel like this guy knows exactly what he's doing. He knows how to get underneath his wife's skin. And they just have one of those relationships. And I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Even though he may not have a fully functional brain, Justo, he did the best he could.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I'm saying it's got to be a joke or a prank, right? You know, like,
right.
There's no way that he could ever make a true claim to, like, yeah, I fixed the engine in the truck, but that's as best I could do over there.
That's the best I could do right there. And I like the line from the wife because, you know, they've been together for 45 years and she's just like, I think it's funny. That's what she said in the story. You know, but she doesn't want to say what she really wants to say, which is he going to keep making that bed till he gets it right.
Right.
Practice makes perfect. And Allen Iverson somewhere going, we talking about practice? Anyway.
You talking about practice?
So, last week we had everyone share a wacky story. You all remember, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
So I didn't share my story because I wanted the listeners to vote on a clean or nasty story. The votes are in, and the nasty story is the winner. Now the nasty story that I wanted to tell originally was like rated TV MA, and my wife was like, you are not telling that story. And I was like, okay. So I was able to tell this story, which is basically not about her and all about me. So the title of this story is Don't Try This in Your Car. So my wife and I were driving to Florida. We stopped about 5 times. The 6th time, it didn't happen. My wife asked, do you need to stop at this rest stop? I looked at her and said, we're like an hour away. Nah, I'm good. You need to stop, I asked her. She said, no, I'm good. Well, my friends, we got caught in traffic. And the next exit was like 5 miles away. 30 minutes went by sitting in this traffic. Another 15 minutes went by. It was up to an hour that had passed, and I had to use the restroom. Another 30 minutes went by, and we only moved a half a mile. A half a mile, guys. I looked at my wife, and I said, I need to go, use the bathroom right now. She goes, go outside the car. We're stopped. I looked out, and it was like a wetland on the side of us. I don't do alligators. I'm black. So I said, okay, grab that Gatorade bottle over there. I had everything set up. My pants were down, bottle in hand, and the traffic started moving out of all things. So I asked my wife, hey, can you hold this bottle? Because I can't drive and, keep looking down to do what I need to do. And she said, okay. So then I let loose and everything was fine. My wife then said, are you almost done? Because the bottle is almost full. So I told her, no, I'm not almost done. How about you switch that small cup over there from McDonald's, which once had yogurt in it? And she looked at me like midstream. And I was like, no, not midstream. I'll hold it. So I did, which all guys know is hard to do. She switched it and I started again. My wife then said, the cup is getting full. I didn't know why I was peeing so much, but the situation started to make me laugh. And if anybody knows me, they know that when I start to laugh and get the giggles, it's all downstream. No pun intended. I'm not getting pee on my hand, my wife said. Take the cup. I grabbed the cup, laughing, peeing. I couldn't hold it in. I got pee all over my pants from shaking, all over my hands. I looked to the right. My wife was crying. She was laughing so hard. I looked to the left out the window, and there was a family just staring at me. God only knows how long they were watching while we were in stop-and-go traffic. The moral of the story, don't hold your pee. The sixth stop could have saved my pants, my hands, and my car, but mostly the embarrassment. And that, my friends, is the wacky story. So, Richie, if you're not laughing, what do you make of this story?
Wow. It's different from my perspective because you've been with Carrie for so long and you always had a partner in crime. So I wouldn't have been able to accomplish what you were accomplishing, first of all. So kudos to Carrie for being your P-mate, so to speak. I definitely always just pull over, man. I don't mess around because usually, when nature calls, it calls. And there's one thing I don't want to do is ruin my clothes. So, moral of the story, you pull over, guys, like you said. Please pull over. Good Lord. You got a story out of it, but I don't want to have to hear another story like that from someone else.
Yes, sir. Justo, you okay?
Oh, man. Well, she's a trooper for one, and cool. It's cool that you.
And it has a steady hand.
Yeah. It's cool that you guys are on that level.
Marvin.
Well, as one black man to another one, Tony, I don't do alligators either. So, fellas, I completely understand why Tony Ray did not get out of the car. So I completely understand. And shouts out to Carrie for being such a trooper doing midstream because that is very difficult.
Yeah, it was messy. I'll tell you, it was one of my favorite stories, and I'm glad I was able to share it and be embarrassed. And now it's going live, and all the listeners can hear it. But they voted for it; they got it. So I've got the word of the week, guys and girls and everyone else. Lollygag. Lollygag.
I've heard this one.
That's old school.
Lollygag. Lollygag. The definition is someone who is messing around or wasting time. It also refers to someone who is doing something that isn't serious or useful. Guys, I lollygagged when I didn't get off at that exit when I should have. I procrastinated. I wasted time. And in that, I should have used the bathroom. I should have taken it more serious. But that's all the wacky news I have for you this week. I'll catch you all next time.
What's up? This is Joshua Scales. You're about to listen to my new single, Loco, on the Justo's Best podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, it is my pleasure to introduce to you, for your weekly dose of entertainment news, give it up for the one, the only, Richie Phillips!
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are here for entertainment, and I'm going to switch it up a little. We've been doing movies, and more movies. So I'm actually going to go into trash reality TV. I'm very excited to tell you guys this story. 15 men will compete to impregnate a 41-year-old woman in a new show called Labor of Love. Now, this show is actually exactly what you think it is. It's going to be hosted by Kristen Davis of Sex and the City. And she's explaining that the winner will skip with the woman named Christy, and they're going no dating, it's just lovemaking. She's here to have a baby, folks. She had been recently divorced at the age of 40, and she's realizing and recognizing that time is not on her side. She wants a kid. So she kind of just had a really cool idea, honestly, when you think about it. It is like, hey, and she's beautiful, like you can check her out. Whether she is or not isn't really relevant. But the point is, she's a beautiful woman, and she was just like, you know what? I want a baby. Let's make a show out of this thing. So genius idea. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's basically The Bachelorette, but instead of getting married, they going straight to the knocking boots. Let's just go with that, folks. We'll keep it PG. So, guys, question for you. Whether you have a partner or not, is this the type of trash that you've been missing in your life?
No.
So, Justin.
No. I don't miss it. I don't want it. So wait a minute. Are they like? And I can correct me if I'm wrong here. Is she picking someone to have a baby with, or is it a race?
No, she's picking.
Okay.
No. This is not a race. This is not a matter of the 2-second man versus the 2-minute man.
No.
This is not about the quality.
Who gets it done first? And then you gotta have the follow-up on Maury.
That's not what... No.
Okay, good. Good, because that's exactly what I thought it was. I thought it was like these 15 dudes was doing it with this girl.
That's what I thought. I'm like, so this is a contest
to see who can impregnate her, and I'm like, you can't pick one?
This is not the P-Hub type thing you're referring to, guys.
Okay.
This is what I said earlier. This is The Bachelorette, but instead of getting married, they're trying to have a child.
Okay.
You will not see the action. She is not going to have action with all 15 men. She is going to date them all like normal. But the preface is, the end of it is
this show is very confusing.
The concept of this show is consummation. That is literally the show, okay? That is the goal of the show.
So, I guess my stance on it is...
it's still the same, probably.
Probably kind of... Yeah, I mean, like, I've never really liked the whole, like, one person gets 15 or 20 or whatever people to compete over the right to date them. Like, to me, it's always seemed pompous. Even if they're beautiful, awesome people, it immediately is a turnoff to me that you think you're so hot that you get a whole TV show of people trying to get with that. So I don't know. Seems like it's hard enough to find one somebody, let alone 15 somebodies. But I don't miss it. To answer your question, nope.
Fair enough, Marvin. What would you say?
On so many levels, I just don't agree with this. Like, for one, it's not fair to the child. It's not fair to the child that has to come into this world and 6-7 years later down the line, watch this show and say, "Wow, Dad, you are one of 14 other jackasses that mom slept with." You know, that ended up on this reality show. Is this how this works? Like, is that what you want to do to this kid? Like, is this the road we're going down? You know? So I don't know. I don't get it. To me, I don't agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me clarify right now. There are not 15 jackasses that are going to sleep with our only one.
There can only be one jackass.
The child's name would be Labor, for labor of love.
Oh,
Tony,
that is
Tony,
terrible.
Please you.
Okay, all right.
So is she deciding which guy is going to be?
Yes, she has to pick one.
Well, that's what I mean. And that's all. And that's all I meant. The child has to come into this world 6-7 years later down the line. The kid watches the show and he says, "Mom, you had to choose out of these guys on TV who's going to be my dad."
Marvin, you don't want the exposure as an actor to come on a show.
They should have just called the show Baby Daddy.
They could.
Right, exactly. Why overcomplicate it? They just had to put it on Fox.
They call it BD.
Tony Ray, what you think?
First off, she's wasting time, making this show if she's trying to get pregnant. She's already at 41. It's pretty much this part's gonna get cut. It's like stale crackers right about now, so as Patrice O'Neal would say, but it's nice. that she has, you know, what is it, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 guys that she gets to choose from to make labor happen, or love. What is the baby's name?
Labor of love.
Labor of love. So labor to come along, and you know, she needs to put the work in now so that way she can have it instead of the work in later, because who knows what is going to be, about 12 episodes. You waste about 3 months of taping and airing, you know. So I don't know. I liked it the other way you guys had it, where they were all racing to see who could get the baby in there. And
That seemed like that was the concept.
Hey, do a DNA test later on to see who the baby daddy is.
Wait a second.
All right.
Wait a second.
That's like a 5-part.
Maybe we're on to something. Maybe we could create a show.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay. Wait a minute, guys. You have to look at the perspective of the show. You're killing me. It's not. Think of it like The Bachelorette. Like what already makes that obscene, like you're referring to, is you're magically gonna fall in love with someone and like have a marriage. This is a baby, and I get the point of your absurdity. So let's get real for a second. You're meeting 15 random dudes in like 2 months, and you have to have a baby with this kid. There's like no backing out of that, and I think that's the absurdity of the show, personally. I think that's where I'm just like, wow, this is like a bit much, because unlike a marriage, which you can just get a divorce, you can't really just get rid of the baby. I mean, you can, but that's, you know, we're not going to go there on Justo's Best. But
so is she like contracted? She has to pick one. They have to do it.
She has to pick one, and then I don't know about the whole details after the fact. That's not really public knowledge, Justo. But what I would assume is they're both signing up for labor in Labor of Love. So that's my assumption. I could be wrong. So thanks for the takes, boys. I don't know if we're gonna do trash reality TV segment ever again.
I wonder if you had to audition for. I wonder if you had to audition for the spot.
I mean, yeah, maybe, you know, who knows what her categories were? Because again, like it's. Go ahead, Tony.
Go ahead. Did they like look up, like, did they do like a sperm count and like who?
Yeah, no, they did.
fertile?
They've already tested them, and
Oh, they
make sure they're all
did. They
fertile.
did.
They've done all that.
All 15 of them are fertile. They're ready to go.
Okay, all right. So they're
It's
all
good
like.
to know Fox is.
It looks
Fox
like
is on it.
It looks like they're all like what, 21 to about what, 38.
Yeah, give or take.
All right. All righty. Another pointless show.
But you know, that's why it's called a trash
Right after-
reality TV series.
Man, have you ever
And
seen?
you can find that show right after Sunday Night Football, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly when it's going to be, right after Sunday Night Football. So I'm going to go into the cinema world, guys. This one's a little different. Still similar concept, but we're not talking about the cinemas versus the production and film industry. We're referring to the Zack Snyder cut. Hashtags Snyder cut. This has been a 2.5-year epidemic, and I say epidemic in all sincerity because every single actor that was participating in the movie Justice League wanted this to be released. So let me give you some background before we get into the details, boys. Zack Snyder, famous director, filmed Man of Steel, ended up doing Batman vs. Superman, and then filmed the Justice League movie. However, the movie that was released was not the Zack Snyder film. It ended up being a Joss Whedon film. He spent about 4 hours of taping making this film, knowing he would have to cut it, hid it from Warner Brothers. They found out. He had to cut it down to 2 hours and 20 minutes. And then unfortunately his daughter had passed. So he decided to withdraw from the movie for obvious reasons. So they hired Joss Whedon, someone who is famed from TV shows such as Buffy, Angel the Vampire, and Angel. And then he ended up doing the Avengers movies, both of those, before he moved on to this project. And this was a critical bomb. It completely flopped, people. The first 2 movies, the Man of Steel did like $680 million. I think the Batman vs. Superman did $800 million. And Wonder Woman did $800 million. And then the Justice League movie, which features all of those stars, in addition to Jason Momoa's Aquaman, did less than $700 million. Critical disaster. Terrible. They just announced the Snyder Cut, after 4 years of protesting, is finally going to be released next year, 2021, on HBO Max. It's either going to be 6 shows over the 4.5 hours, or it'll be one like mega film. So this is going to be kind of folded questions. So we'll just start off the bat. Let's just go with this one. What do you think about movies such as this type of movie, or movies like Ant-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor 2, where a director had to replace another director and reshoot the film and change the identity of the movie? How do you feel, is like, from the actor's perspective, from the audience perspective, what do you feel like those types of movies? Are you for that, or are you against the production, like kind of going against the director's wishes? So we'll start off with Justo.
Well, I'm going to go from the actor's perspective.
Sure.
You know, man, that's devastating. That's terrible. You know, I take a role very personally, regardless of what the role is. You know, I audition carefully. I pay attention to the journey that I might be having to take, and then I team up with the director to create this character. So for the director to get yanked and to go back to square one, being halfway through the process, that means a lot of my creative choices, a lot of my creative decisions, a lot of the collaboration and the art that is working with a great director just gets yanked. And now you want me to do it with someone else. I don't know how I would still give the character the identity that I set out to give it, I guess, if that makes any sense. Because it's like, I don't know. I mean, I can't even describe it. I don't know how. So like I was just doing a show, Little Shop, and it got canceled by COVID, sadly. But I could not imagine someone coming in where we were at 2 weeks from opening and saying, "Hey, we got a new director. We're going to change everything. We're going to go back to the start and redoing it." I probably would have walked, to be completely honest, because it's like damaging something that was being created. I don't know.
Yeah, no, and what you just said is kind of what's frustrating. Imagine shooting a film for 6 to 8 months. I mean, because these are big films.
Yeah, much longer process.
Time.
Oh, yeah.
Much longer process. And then to say, now we got to do reshoots. Or, here's an example. Let's just go with this. Henry Cavill was filming the Mission Impossible movie. At that point, he had a mustache in the movie. So he's like, I'm not cutting this mustache because we need to reshoot. You're going to have to figure it out. So they ended up having to CGI his mustache. And I don't know, like, this is a meme because it cost Warner Brothers over $200 million in CGI for all the scenes he had the mustache in the reshoots.
I know that.
Big money. Big money there. Mustache money.
That's crazy.
So Marvin, what do you think as another actor? How would you feel about that?
Yeah, from an actor's standpoint, I'm totally against it. I would absolutely hate if I was working on a project and I had already developed a rapport with the director and I saw the director's vision. And based off what you said earlier, Richie, when you're doing a project that long for 6 to 8 months and you bring another director in, both directors aren't the same. They each have a different vision. So what Justo was saying earlier, when you've already put in that preparation, already made those choices as an actor, because that takes a lot of time. It's a lot of work, before you go into a scene. I think that you can really harm the movie in itself because it's cast and crew. I got a team first mindset when it comes to working on film with not just the castmates, but the crew around us, the sound, people that do sound editing. Like when you bring in and the director is like the captain, the guy that keeps everything together. So when you've developed chemistry and camaraderie and rapport with the one guy for so long and you bring in someone else to deter the vision, I just don't like that. I just feel like you can really destroy the essence of what the movie could have been. Because like I was saying earlier, once something's already seen, it can't be unseen. So once it flopped, you would love Zack Snyder's final cut, this cut to be out there so people can see, so it can redeem itself. But all together, I think it's just pretty messed up to do. And to agree with Justo, my ass would walk.
Gotcha. Tony, what would you say?
Well, for me, if you're the audience, you have a style that you like. So if there's a style that you like and it's Quentin Tarantino, then you're gonna like Quentin Tarantino movies, right? But if a different style was to come into play, you might not even watch that movie. And my biggest thing is to put myself in the actor's shoes. So this is the best way I can sum up what Justo and Marvin are trying to say. So I cast them or you as the listener to play the Joker, but I want you to be the Jack Nicklaus Joker. Now Richie comes in and he says, "No, this isn't the way that I want it to go. I want you to be more of the Heath Ledger Joker. The amount of stress and pressure put on you to have to completely flip the style of your character, you know, I disagree with it personally, but I just want to bring it to everyone's, you know, up front, that way they can see it. You know, that's what you're really asking these actors to do when you have another director come in, is you're asking them all those months. These actors put in so much work on, you know, some, you know, stop eating if they're trying to play somebody that's, you know, not supposed to be, you know, real healthy. Some of them go to prison and they actually feel what it's like to be in prison if they play a character of somebody that's in prison. You know, you're putting a lot on somebody to say, you know what, you did all that research, don't worry about it. I want you to do it this way from now on as a different director.
Yeah, no, I think all of your points are how I feel as well. And like, I did want to give this example now that we're talking about direction. Good example is Zack Snyder. Let's talk about how he was doing the DC movies. So Marvel, as if you guys have seen any of the Marvel movies, all of them humor-based comedy, and they're funny. So they kind of flipped the script, because if you watched a lot of the older movies like the Blades and stuff, they're a lot more serious. And Spider-Man, the first one with Tobey Maguire, a lot more serious and a lot more grounded. And then what happened is Marvel was like, hey, let's make funny things. And it was super successful, Iron Man, etc. You guys know those movies. So Zack Snyder, when they did the DC ones, was like, well, no, I want a gritty, more down-to-earth one. And he made a controversial move in Man of Steel where Superman killed Zod. He killed somebody. It's never happened in a Superman movie, let alone the comics, etc. So it's a big thing that went actually pretty well. And then there's the Batman vs. Superman, which is also tonally super dark. So the Justice League movie theoretically was going to be in the same direction. And obviously we'll find out next year. But because of what happened, Joss Whedon came in, and what you saw in the Justice League movie was a lot of humor. And that definitely missed 1,000%, and you can see it in the reviews. I think the Rotten Tomatoes was like 22% on this movie. It did not do well. I'm not necessarily claiming the Snyder film will be that much better, but considering to see the actors' passion for this release, I have a feeling that it's what they wanted. It's kind of what Justo and Marvin and Tony were even referring to, because they're so passionate in heaven for years. Snyder Cut, release it. So clearly there is something in this version of the film that they wanted that was not released. Their characters were not portrayed how they wanted. It's hard to say, but I do have one more question for you guys now that we're talking about this, and that this will happen on HBO Max next year. Would you prefer to see this in 6:45-ish minute episodes or one long movie? Pretty different. Justin, what's your take?
This is so he got through what though? Like he got through a rough cut, or he has a 4-hour final project?
That's what's challenging. Great question. They have 4.5 hours worth of the footage. It was on its second cut. So what I assume, because they haven't announced it, but Snyder, HBO, and Warner Brothers, I believe he's working on like melding it and getting the cut to be the final version.
I'd love to see the
Snyder cut.
Yeah, I'd love to see Zack Snyder's final cut of the film.
You would like the full 4.5 hours, not episodic week to week.
Yeah, because you don't shoot a film just because you can make good shots. I mean, that's what makes you an awesome cinematographer and a great director, and to be able to set those things up. But the art of filmmaking comes into the final project when everything's together, from the shots, the graphics, the effects, cutting out the unnecessary dialogue or scenes that just in the end didn't work. I've learned all this so recently, so it's fresh to me. But like the film world, nothing is ever what you set out to do. It seems like you set out to do something and everything gets pulled down. So I don't know if I would want to see his second cut of 4.5 hours of footage. The movie's probably not going to be anywhere close to that long. you know, or it might be. He might just have that much good stuff, but it's definitely missing by this point. Because I know, you know, just from editing this show, you don't get it all done in 2 full cuts of the show. So yeah, I'd love to see his production in its full value. I think the actors would probably appreciate that as well. And honestly, I didn't know any of this. I'm really not a DC fan. I used to say that if it was Gotham related, I was about it. But otherwise, DC's not really my favorite. But since these newer films, I've actually really not even cared for the Batman stuff, any of it. But I think that the actors deserve it. I think Zack Snyder deserves it. And quite frankly, us as fans and viewers deserve the final cut that he intended to make in the first place.
So, okay, cool. Snyder cut, 4.5 hours, Justin's down. Marvin, would you rather see it as a mini-series or a full movie?
I would like to see it as a mini-series, to be honest with you. I understand that cinematographers don't get into this to make, you know, cuts. I know there's an artistic, you know, form that they have to stay reverent to, like, but at the same time, I understand that if you cut a 4-hour movie into an episodic series, you can lure people back in. You can give this project a chance to redeem itself. And not only that, in between weeks, it's kind of like what we do here. Give us more time to promote it, steer it in the direction it was supposed to go in. You know, as far as, you know, because like I was saying earlier, people can unsee things, and the, you know, precious commodity in all of this is time. You know, people can't get their time back once they already see something. So I think that in a mini-series, that gives you wiggle room for redemption, you know, to come back from that, you know, that flop. So I would love to see a mini-series based on his work.
Okay, cool. Tony, what do you think?
Very simple. 4 hours. That's what I want to see.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's great perspectives from all of you guys. Like, for me, I'd want to see the movie, but I'm a huge superhero fan, big DC fan. I think for a general audience, what Marvin said is what I feel, though. I think a miniseries is easier for many levels. One, you do the first episode and people can see and get kind of hyped, like, oh wow, this is like a lot different than what I had seen. Or they're going to be excited just because, oh, I didn't watch it the first time, but clearly they want us to see this. And they watch it in an hour. And just HBO people, let's be honest, if it's HBO produced, people love HBO stuff. So just to hear like that first hour, oh man, that's really cool. Commercials start playing, it starts getting hyped. I also think, in all fairness to a lot of people, 4 hours is a lot. Now, Tony Ray and I have done some things where we sat down and watched movies, but 4 hours straight is a lot of time to watch something, whereas it's a little easier to do it episodic. So for me, would definitely prefer the movie. I think from a marketing perspective, the miniseries is probably the way they'll go, but totally understand. And to the vision of what, like, the idea of what Zack Snyder wanted, I would hope it's going to be what Zack Snyder really wanted, which is that 4.5 hour movie, whatever it ends up being. So
right.
Thanks for the opinions, guys. We're going to go to Song of the Week, and I'm actually hitting a top 40. This is not normal, but I really dig it. Doja Cat, Say So. Check it out if you haven't heard it. And that's going to be entertainment for the week.
This is DJ Tony Ray, and you're listening to Just Us Best Podcast.
Welcome back to Just Those Best. It is time for the Artist Spotlight. And this week we have comedian Tony Watson out of Findlay, Ohio. Tony, what's going on?
What's going on, man? I'm in a hot car right now, so if I start sweating, not because I'm nervous. Just,
it's because it's hot.
Heaving.
Yeah, it's hot. Absolutely. Well, guys, this is Tony. This is Marvin, Richie, and DJ Tony Ray. We are happy to have you on the show, man. So stand-up comedy. How long have you been doing it, man?
September will be 2 years, I believe.
Tony, great to have you on the show, man. What was that first show like? That first open mic?
My first actual set was actually in a basement, which I don't really count as an open mic because it was kind of a setup thing, you know. But my first real open mic was just awful. It was just 5 minutes of just pure tense bombing in front of a room of like 3 or 4 people. It was not good. If that had been my first set ever, I probably wouldn't have started doing it afterwards. You know, I probably would have quit that night, honestly.
Well, you shook it off and you just kept going.
Yeah, but it was only because the very first set I ever did went really well. I did about 15 minutes. I just told a story. And I feel like if that set hadn't gone well, I don't think I ever would have done it again, maybe. But as soon as I started going to like real bar shows and like getting on actual events and stuff, I just realized that bombing's sort of part of the process, you know, and the only way you get better is by bombing. So, man, the first one's always tough, though, you know?
I like that mindset. Now, earlier, before the show, you said you weren't a big sports guy. So I have one more question for you.
Okay.
I had a little fun with this. In a celebrity fight for charity, which comedian would you choose to fight Mike Tyson?
Mike Tyson. Okay. Oh man.
Who are you sending to the wolves?
Man, last week I had to dodge getting bit by him.
A lot of Mike Tyson going on.
I would say Larry the Cable Guy for some reason. It seems like a perfect matchup.
That's a great matchup.
Yeah. I just want to see him get her done, you know? I don't really.
Yeah, why not?
I like that.
Get her done.
All right, Tony, we're kindred spirits. I used to do stand-up for years in my early 20s, actually. So I'm going to have a couple questions for you. It's not going to be
okay, cool.
So one of the things I'd like to tell the audience, just as you mentioned, is I think a lot of people get this idea of stand-up is just, oh, I could do that. I could get up there and be funny. And then what you just said, like your first one, it's like if you don't actually understand how it works and you just get up there and think you're just going to tell jokes, it's an awful experience, like you kind of just mentioned. I'm not saying you specifically did that, but there's a lot of people that I watched do that. Right. So it's just like you get drunk and you're like, man, this doesn't look hard. And you start doing it and you fail miserably. So, and as you mentioned, you start bombing. And honestly, what you said has resonated with me because like my failures were what essentially got me to improve. But I also recognize like that's part of it. You're not going to ever entertain the whole room. There's always going to be that one guy that's looking at you like, bro, that's not funny.
Right.
And you just have to deal with it, right? Like realistically, if you can make one person laugh, like you've done your job. That's the whole point. Okay.
Well, I was just kind of thinking if there's that one person in the room that's kind of just not digging it, I'm just like, well, all these other people like it, so that's good enough for me, you know?
Yeah, no,
maybe
sure.
that one guy is just not for me. Maybe I don't want that guy there, you know?
Yeah, no, and that's what I mean. Well, and that's the thing with humor, right? You never know everyone has their own tastes. So you never want to focus one way or another. Even if you got the whole room laughing, that doesn't mean your set is as good as it could have been, right? Your timing could have been better, etc. So, go ahead.
If you don't like a joke I make or something, you know, if something bugs you that I say on stage, it doesn't bother me if you don't want to be a fan of mine, really. You know what I mean? I don't really want those people to, because I mean, I'm not going to stop writing jokes the way I write jokes and, you know, doing stand-up the way I do stand-up. It's always going to basically be the same, you know, but there's no malice behind anything. So it's all just a joke. So if you're getting mad at it, then you just don't get humor, I don't think.
Sure. So my first question, piggybacking off of what you just said, is your style, your humor, and who are some of the comedians that have influenced you? Just try to name a couple.
One of my favorites for sure is Louis C.K. Still, I really appreciate the way he writes his sets. He always, whenever he comes up with like a closer for his hour, he'll open his next set with that same joke, and he hopes that in the end he's able to have, you know, a full set of just closers. And I feel like that's a really smart way of piecing a set together. And I feel like that's also what makes him such a good, you know, joke writer at the end of the day. I just try to base my style off of that. And there's another guy named Tony Hinchcliffe. He's an LA guy, and he started comedy around the same age that I did, but he started from like the very bottom. He was working at a comedy club, and now he like runs one of the most successful like live podcasts out there right now. So it's just cool to see someone really work their way to the top of the industry like that. And I want to eventually, be up there with that guy at some point.
Okay. No, appreciate that, man. So to clarify to our audience and to Marvin, those birds are with Tony. They are not New York City birds. They are not New York City birds. Those are Tony's birds.
Birds in New York City don't make sounds like that.
That's right.
I'm telling you right now, that sounds like the same birds.
They were going ham in there. Okay. So Tony, I got one last question for you.
About them.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So what I want you to do for the audience, as we just discussed, hey, it looks easy, yada, yada, yada. What's the advice you would give someone who wants to start doing open mics, stand-up comedy, etc., that you've learned through your struggles? What should they do to prepare, and what's their mentality? What should they be thinking about?
I definitely think that a lot of people struggle with trying to pinpoint where people should laugh at certain things. I feel like everybody they go up there with something that they presume to be funny, but they don't have an idea of where the laugh should show up. I feel like if you're gonna write a set for the first time, you should at least mark that in to where you know what I mean? Have an idea of where you're trying to get people to laugh, so that way you can build up to that moment. I just feel like a lot of people go up there and ramble and try to get something funny out of it. It usually comes off as lots of premises, but not too many, jokes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it.
All right, Tony Tone. So I got some wacky questions for you. So
Okay.
Be prepared. Are you ready?
I'm a wacky dude. So
Okay. I like it. I like it. So if peanut butter wasn't called peanut butter, what would it be called?
Oh, God.
Huh. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know why it's called peanut butter, to be completely honest. But I feel like it has to be something that goes well with jelly.
Okay. All right. So here's another good one for you. What movie would greatly improve? What movie would greatly improve if we turned it into a musical?
Oh man. Step Brothers?
Nice.
That would be a good musical.
I would enjoy that. I would enjoy that.
I would pay to see that.
Yeah, it's
I
just,
would. If you could have any superhero powers, what would they be and why?
Possibly invisibility, just because I feel like it's a very underrated superpower. Not a lot of people. I feel like you could get away with a lot of sly crimes. Maybe I would be a supervillain if I had a superpower.
Man, you are a bank robber number 3 on our show.
Yeah, I want to say.
I think if my power was invisibility, I would for sure be a villain. But if it was super strength or speed or something, I'd probably be a hero. But I don't know why you would be a hero if you could disappear though. I feel like you should only be a villain if that's your power, right? Because what's the point of being a superhero if nobody can see you?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I totally understand.
Well,
Last
you said
one.
underrated. You said underrated, but you're actually the third artist that we've had on that said they would prefer to be invisible.
Well, that's because everybody's got depression nowadays.
Last question for you, Tony. If life was a video game, what cheat codes would be implemented?
What cheat codes would I use specifically?
Yes.
I'm trying to think of all the Grand Theft Auto cheat codes I can remember because those are all the fun ones.
For The Sims, it's Rosebud. For money, for other things, you've got cheat codes so your car can go faster. Or
first things first, spawn a helicopter.
Yeah, I think spawning vehicles would definitely be a fun one because then if you're if you're ever in a predicament where you need a ride, You could
After you stole
you
from
don't
a
have
bank,
to worry
maybe.
about right. You could be your own getaway driver, you know? You just gotta have that cheat code ready. Imagine robbing a bank and then having to call an Uber. That would really screw up your plans.
That would be funny though.
Right. I guess it would be hard to catch like if you're a getaway driver and you don't know you're a getaway driver, then no one's gonna suspect that it's you that just robbed the bank, you know?
Correct.
Like if you're just doing normal Uber driving stuff, then why would you get like chased? I don't know.
No, I like it. I like the setup. That's all I got for you.
There's a black market job opportunity for somebody, an Uber driver that specializes in robberies.
That's called the transporter.
Oh yeah. There it is. Never mind.
They made some movies about that.
I'm with you. Well, Tony, I'm glad to have you on the show, man. We've been friends for quite a while here, and I've kind of seen you go. You take this comedy thing and run with it. You were a professional wrestler. I don't know if you're still admitting that to the public, but
yeah. I mean, I have a past. They can find it on YouTube.
You were really good, and you know the thing that's always been an admiring point for me about you is your hard work and your dedication. When you were a wrestler, I drove you on one of the trips, but you used to travel all over the country to take seminars with people, and you worked like I think 5 or 6 days a week on top of working 5 or 6 days a week on a full-time job, and you've always been very dedicated. You traveled all the time for wrestling to do the seminars, and
I traveled to Kalamazoo, Michigan one time.
Yeah, that was an accident. I was with you on that one. Man, I don't know if you guys have ever fallen asleep in the car and waking up somewhere that you're not supposed to, but, you know, Detroit to Toledo, I don't know if you know Ohio very well, but it's really just a straight shot down 75 once you get to 75. So that's what I was exhausted. I was riding with Tony back from a Comic-Con, and I was like, hey, you know, just take 75 south, wake me up when we get there. You should pass Toledo and everything first. I woke up the approximate time of the trip should take later, and we were in Kalamazoo, Michigan, which was roughly the same length of the trip west instead of south.
It is a very weird situation. Same exact address. I don't get it, man.
So, but you know
how hard it is to like how unsettling it is to like be happy that you're finally out of Michigan, only to realize that you're still in Michigan. It's like a Groundhog Day type of thing.
But I mean, yeah, that was one of the trips, and we traveled around, and you worked so hard with that, and then you know you transferred that over to comedy, man. I see your booking schedule, and I see how frequently you're doing this, and it's really awesome.
Thank you,
Richie.
I have a question, please.
Okay.
Like, this whole interview would have been different if I knew he was a professional or a former professional wrestler.
I still do it every now and then. You know? I just don't look like I do, so that's why I don't promote it.
Folks, I love wrestling first and foremost. I'm not laughing about that. It's something not worth talking about why I'm laughing. But Tony, gotta know. Professional wrestler, what was your finishing move? I have to know.
Oh,
what
it's actually a move that I invented. It's I call it the trick shot. It's just I'm standing behind the guy. I grab his left arm like around his waist, and then I spin him around, and I basically just give him like a Trouble in Paradise, like just a spinning kick to the head. You can find it on YouTube. It's pretty brutal, but I'm proud of it because it's something original that I've only ever seen one other person do, and it wasn't as well as mine is. So I like to think that I lay claim to that move, but who knows? I
would love to see that because that sounds like a very smooth move for a bigger guy. And I'm sure that's impressive. That's insane.
If you type in Mickey Mavis, the finale, it should show up on YouTube. It's just a short little clip.
So now you're doing comedy, and we have a little bit of a clip here from your newest album. Will you tell us a little bit about the album?
This is an album. Like I said, I started off doing comedy in a basement. So the guy that ran those shows wanted to just put like a small group of people together during quarantine, so we could still do comedy. And that's basically what the album is. It's a 2-part album. That's the first half of the album is 2 sets combined, and then the second half of the album is 3 sets combined. And it's this quarantine album, you know. It's not gonna be like HBO special level of quality, but one of the things I'm most proud of with that is since it's a quarantine album, I haven't been able to really work on a lot of material. So a lot of those jokes that are on those 2 albums were the first time I ever did them. So it's a pretty sweet little hidden gem that I just released to everybody. It's available on YouTube for free, but it's in 2 parts. I would watch if you're only gonna watch one, I would prefer you watch the second part because I feel like it's much better. But if you watch the first one, just don't say I didn't warn you, you know?
All right, so we have a clip here from the album Filthy Idiot by Tony Watson. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Just Those Best podcast.
Hey guys, this is Tony Watson. You are about to hear a clip from my brand new quarantine comedy album, Filthy Idiot.
I believe that I'm a much better driver when I know that there are drugs in my trunk. And that kind of got me thinking, imagine how great I'd be if instead of drugs, I had a body in there. I'd be really good. Just like Paul Walker in all those movies, you know? You know, second thought, that's probably not the best example. His car had 2 dead bodies in it. You know, some people might say that joke's too soon, but I think it's too fast, too furious. Can't argue with that.
Oh
my
boy.
goodness gracious.
My wife's not gonna like that joke. She's a Paul Walker fan.
Oh, man.
But that's comedy, though, man, Tony. It's being able to just go there.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Well, I think that, you know, Marvin, that's absolutely the sentiment. I think that's the coolest thing about comedy. These dark things happen. We can either choose to sit around and feel like crap about them, or we have people like Tony and people like Richie and other comedians out there that can bring some positivity to it and some laughter to it. Even if it is a little, you know, harsh and
I'll be honest with you guys that joke is not actually on the album. That's just a clip that I was able to put together. But there is another Paul Walker joke on the album that I
Oh boy!
give you guys a heads up on that one.
All right. So if you're into the first joke, you'll love the second one.
I don't
think so. I think the second one's a little bit worse. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, Tony, I appreciate having you on the show, man. I hope we can have you back as things progress and kind of check in on you, see where things are going. Make sure everybody, you go and check out Tony's stuff online at YouTube, and he'll post here a little bit on the show where you can find him and where to check out his stuff.
Right.
Tony, will you come back and see us?
Oh, for sure. This was a lot of fun. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Tony, love having you on the show, man.
Yeah, Tony, thank you.
Thanks, man. All right, folks, don't go anywhere. We have closing thoughts coming up. Just Those Best podcast.
Hey, guys, this is comedian Tony Watson here. You can find me online on Twitter and Instagram at twat_comedy. You can also find me on YouTube. My wrestling YouTube is Tricky Mickey Mavis. And then my comedy YouTube is Tony Watson Comedy. You can also hear me on my new podcast that started yesterday, the Curious Cats podcast. We're going to do an episode each week, so keep an eye out for that.
Hey guys, this is Mike Riley, and you're listening to Just Those Best podcast.
All right, it is time for final thoughts where we say see you later until next week. First and foremost, before I pass it around the horn, I want to say a big thank you to comedian Tony Watson for coming in and making us laugh and having some fun with us. That was a lot of fun. Next week on Just Those Best Podcast, we have out of Florida, we have Christian R&B performing artist Tavy on the show. And you heard her song earlier on today's episode, and she will be with us next week in the studio. And then the following week, now, folks, this is the second to last episode of season 1. Now, when I say that, I don't want you to get scared, because a short 3 weeks after episode 8, you'll get season 2. So don't be scared. But on episode 7, this second to last episode, we have a very special guest, Abigail Lionheart, coming in. She's an author, and she also does a really cool thing where she writes these short stories and produces and records the audiobook version of it and posts that online. So it'll be cool to have her. A lot of exciting guests coming up. And now, for final thoughts of the week, I'm going to pass it around the horn. Fellas?
I want to thank Tony Watson for coming on the show this week. I had an excellent, fun time with you guys. It was always amazing. It's always amazing coming on this week and sharing this platform with you guys. It's really amazing. And I just want to just tell you all, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. All that matters is that you get up one more time than you get knocked down. So with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed your Memorial Day weekend. Use that quote to, fuel your fire, not to give up, no matter what it is. And looking forward to having Tavy next week, and definitely looking forward to seeing you fellas next week as well. We had a great time, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the week.
It was very nice, Marvin. I appreciate it. I love the quote, by the way, especially since you were talking about boxing earlier. So I just wanted to say happy Memorial Day to everyone as well. Once again, the quote of the week for me is never be afraid to try something new, because life gets boring when you stay within the limits of what you already know. So push yourself. You hear us say it all the time at the end of the show. Get out, try something new, reach out to people that you haven't talked to. Just push yourself to the limit. Aspire to be better each and every day. And, you never know what you can accomplish. So until next time, keep it real, keep it fun. I'm out.
I'd also like to thank Tony as well. It reminds me of my past and honestly how I met all of you guys realistically. It's fun to see a comedian and see somebody who just has that sparkle, gets that butterflies, gets that rush of adrenaline to perform. And, I know a lot of you guys can relate in terms of performance. So it's just great, really fun. Glad to have him on. Hope we get to see him down the road and see his craft improve more and more. The quote I really have is very similar. People often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. I think it's super important for us people to always remember that it's easy to start having an idea and it's easy to start the process. But the bottom line is you have to stay motivated. You have to continue. It's just like the routine itself. You have to continue to push yourself, find reasons for what you're doing. So until next time, guys.
That's awesome. You guys all had some great quotes, and a big thank you to you fellas for being you. This show is so much fun. My quote of the week kind of comes from a place that I relate to, and I hope you guys do as well. The quote is, "A lion does not concern himself with the opinions of the sheep." This is a little bit different, but in the terms of go out there, do what you got to do, and stop worrying about what other people think about it. So many people live their lives in a shell, hiding because they think that everybody's thinking these ill things about them. So don't concern yourself with their thoughts, but instead concern yourself with personal progress. Thank you guys, and we will see you next week on the Just Those Best podcast. And as always, live, laugh, love like it's your last. We'll see you next week.